Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with American Vineyard Magazine, reporting to you here today with Jeff Bitter from Allied Grape Growers here in Fresno. Wanted to talk with him about, what's going on in the industry. We've got raisins that are being laid down on trays right now. Also, we've got grapes that are being crushed, and the lack of Thompsons that have gone into the crush this year. I know that those numbers keep dwindling every year, but could you give us an update on that?
Absolutely. So we probably need to caveat, we're in the second week of September right now, so things change quickly this time of year. But where we're at right now is that we have not seen the purchases from wineries this year that we have in the recent past. And that's not a new trend. I think if you go back 5 years ago was when we really saw the decline in purchases from wineries of Thompson Seedless, where we used to have 3 to 4, 500,000 ton plus crushes. It dwindled down to under 100,000 over the last 5 years. So it's not new that we have small crushes of Thompsons, but this year seems like it has reduced even more. And that's primarily because two outlets for Thompsons have not needed the supply this year, and that is specifically Thompsons in the Brandy sector of the business, and also Thompson's for sparkling wine. And without those two segments of the business demanding the product, we've had less buying activity.
Well, I know we've had quite the inventory from last year, and so there was concern we talked about earlier on, was there going to be room in the tanks for the 2019 crop? And that seems like it's played a role in this too, right?
Well, definitely. So on the brandy side of the business, the wine industry is long in inventory right now. And so those that normally make brandy with Thompson's are able to buy wine supply, already fermented grape juice, and turn that into brandy versus buying Thompson Seedless to convert into wine and then into brandy. And so that has reduced the need for Thompson Seedless in that segment, again, because of the supply of wine available right now. On the sparkling wine side, I won't go into all the details of why there's a lack of demand there, but the utilization of other grapes and that program this year that normally would have been Thompson Seedless caused a decrease in the need of Thompson. So again, that had to do with excess supply in other areas and, wineries wanting to use that excess supply instead of buying Thompson Seedless.
Right, so what are you seeing this year? Obviously, you don't got, a crystal ball or anything, but what do you project potentially for the Thompson Crush this year compared to last year?
A great question. So last year we were around 80,000. I think we're going to be somewhere about half of that this year. And again, most of that has to do with the decrease in those two programs. But there's also a lack of demand in general on the concentrate side. You have processors that are not excited about making product without having the commitment on the other end for that product, that end product, that concentrate. And so it's it's kind of some years you have the perfect storm of good things happening, which was 2018.
Right.
And this year we kind of have the perfect storm of some undesirable things happening, and it's really caused disruption in the Thompson Crush and the amount of tons that will be crushed this year in the market.
Right, I know we have quite the carryover inventory in the raisin industry as well. So a lot of these Thompsons that that are going to get displaced are most likely going to go into the raisin business, right? So yes. I'm curious as to how, is that going to be a big impact on the raisin industry? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, another good question. So yeah, the natural, result of wineries not taking in so many tons is that those grapes will be dried, most likely into raisins, and will end up as raisin inventory, which we don't necessarily need at this point in time. So, if you take that 40,000 ton difference of crush from last year to this year, potentially, and you convert that into dried tons, you're probably 8,000 to 10,000 tons of raisins that will be made this year that, in theory were not made in 2018. So probably not a time when we need another 8,000 or 10,000 tons of raisins. although the entire raisin crop is over 250,000 tons, so 8 or 10,000 isn't make or break, but it does add to an inventory that's already on the long side.
Right, so it's a good perspective to take on the fact that compared to the rest of the crop, it doesn't make that significant of a difference that some people might be concerned about. So
Correct.
At least that's a good thing there.
Yeah, correct. And there are packers that are willing to take that extra raisin supply in. So it's not an issue of moving those raisins to packers. It's just a matter of finding a packer that is interested in taking that inventory in.
Great. Well, thanks for the update, Jeff. Read more about these things in the September issue of American Vineyard Magazine. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.